Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Today, I am joined by Bradley Freedom. Now, he's a man who's been fighting for freedom since he was a little boy, and I'm going to let him tell you all about that. Hello, Bradley. How are we doing?
Hi, Paul. I'm doing excellent, man. Thank you. Thank you. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm not doing too bad at all. Not too bad at all. Just looking at the bad weather that we've got in the UK, but that's normal, and just working out what freedom they're going to take from us next.
Oh man. Yeah, like we were just talking about. And I thought the US had it bad, but the last couple of few years, you guys have really turned it up over there across the
Yeah,
pond. Yeah, you guys are really turning it up. Yeah, that in
yeah.
Australia. It's almost like it's the same people pulling the same strings, almost, right?
Anyone would say there was some sort of secret cabal pulling the strings of all countries, wouldn't you?
Yeah, and maybe not so secret. World Economic Forum, they got a big, huge. I mean, they just wasn't it Larry Fink. They just put in Mr. Anal Swab. What was his name? Klaus Anal Swab. They put in his spot. Now we've got this guy, the BlackRock guy. What? Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah. I mean, the one that I'm just starting to find out now, and Liz Truss, former Prime Minister of the UK, she's doing the rounds at the moment, trying to explain who's really pulling the strings in UK government. And one of the things she's come out with is a Prime Minister can't spend a penny unless the Treasury says it's okay. So our government is doing the political wheels of the Treasury. Now, what we know is the Treasury works for the World Economic Forum, and that's something that we've got to sit here and go, well, actually, a lot of things are starting to make sense because Liz Truss turned around and said, "Oh, I wanted to do this." The Treasury said, "No, you can't do this." And I sit here, and their big agenda is net zero, which we all know is a total lie and fabricated, and dare I say it, tax us into the ground. They're the things they like. What they print the money. That's the funny bit. They
So why do
print
you need
nothing.
taxes? If you can print money, why do you have to take money from me? Right?
Exactly, exactly, and that's something you've got to sit here and go. It actually gets you thinking hard because that paper money is printed from nothing, means nothing. It isn't an asset. It's literally a lie, almost. And that's what you got to
Yeah.
call it.
Yeah, fiat currency, man. We're really big into that because that's the thing. And that's why we're really big into Bitcoin. I know I'm probably not here to talk about Bitcoin, but that is something that it's sound money. And that's something that we as a people, as a species, as human beings, as us, as this human experience right now, we've never had sound money. Do you know that? How crazy is that? We've never had that. We've never had an appreciating asset for money ever. It appreciates over time, not depreciates. We don't know what that means because we're all so used to growing up in a fiat society, right? Where it is a lie. You hit it right on the head. We're sold a lie. We think that the paper's money. We're trained that when we're kids. But down in El Salvador right now, they're not doing that. Our treasurer, our Bitcoin treasurer, he moved to El Salvador last year because he's all in Bitcoin. But the way that they teach their kids down there is they basically they're getting an Austrian economics and money, right? And what sound money actually is, because that's freedom. That's how they control us. Believe it or not, they control us through the monetary supply. That's how
Oh,
it's really done.
100%.
Right.
100%. And there's a reason why they don't teach us about wealth in schools. They're happy to
Yep.
teach us about dance, art, and things we don't really need. You're either artistic or you're not. You can't force someone to be artistic, but everybody should be taught about wealth. I mean,
Yeah.
I only learned about wealth getting into my early 30s. Until that point, I was all about that fiat currency, paycheck to paycheck, you name it. Now, once I
Yep.
started to learn, was when I really started to create wealth for myself. And that's something that once you know it, you can't unknow it. And all of a
Yeah.
sudden, as long as you're clever, you can grow wealth. And that's something that I don't get why we're not taught it in schools. But then if you go
Yep.
all the way back, when a school was founded, the schools were founded, I should say, they were actually called factory schools. That's their
Yeah.
actual term to
Yeah.
create production line drones. That's
Yep.
it.
Yep. Yeah,
And
that's exactly what it is. And that's why we say that's what, again, the five pillars, what we have the freedom people is the five pillars of freedom, because this is what it's about. It's about educating yourself, because those are indoctrination camps. That's not education, that's indoctrination. And it's by, like you said, It's by design, and it was designed for that in the late 1800s, early 1900s. That's what it was designed for. And it was designed to create obedient workers, like you said, drones, just people who do whatever they're told to do. And you can see that now. And that's when 2020 really kind of shined a big flashlight on all that, didn't it? It really kind of, because that's why the freedom people exist right now, Paul, is because I could not believe that people were actually doing it. I thought that when they told people to go put a mask and stay at home, there'd be like, especially here in the US, right? Because we're freedom country. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. That just showed you just so much how it just highlighted it right there for the whole world to see how much drone like we've become, how cyborg we've become, just do whatever. And all you're trying to do is memorize, right? Doctors and lawyers. We talked about this a lot, is doctors and lawyers. Well, why grow up to be a doctor and lawyer? Well, who writes the curriculum for the doctors and the lawyers? Let's just talk about it for a little bit. And I got some really interesting stuff about the UK, man, because we got friends that are in the battle with some stuff, and it's just the UK. It's coming everywhere. It's coming anywhere, everywhere. But anyway, so yeah, so it's all about just learning and regurgitating. That's what you want to do. Is you just got to take in information, and the best regurgitators, they become doctors and lawyers. That's the best. They're the best. The best of the best are the best repeaters. That's it. They can't think. We got a bunch of overeducated or undereducated idiots. That's what's going on. But everybody's so egotistical. I went to Harvard Law. You think you're going to talk to me about law? Yeah, actually, you know no law. You know legalese, you retard. And that's the thing. Nobody wants to talk about it. We can't talk about it. We can't actually, because you can't, they're trained by the best in the world. But what are you trained on? Nobody looks at what is the core of you, what you were trained on, like doctors. And that was the beauty of 2020. That's why we're back in action over here, is because 2020 helped people to realize how messed up the medical system is, that they're not taught any sort of nutrition, zero. Like, say you have a coin and there's two sides to it. They're only taught pharmaceuticals. You
Yeah.
got a cough, prescribe this. You got this. They have zero training on how the body actually can heal itself and natural healing. That's what it's about. So you
Yeah.
take that exact thing, take it to the legal side. It's the same thing. All the lawyers, they're only taught legalese, not actual law, not constitution, not natural law, God's law, none of that. They're not taught any of that. All they're taught is how to do exactly what they're told. And then they've got the entire, society behind them saying, oh yeah, you are that awesome. You're that awesome, mate. You're great. Yeah. Keep going. Keep going. You're the best. Nobody can ever tell you you're not. Right. And so now here we are. We got people who are so over egotistical about what they know, but they know nothing, and they don't know that they know nothing. And that is like a scary place. Right. Because then
Yeah.
2020, that's how you get 2020. That's how you have people force injecting children. Like, okay, did we actually do that? We actually just went through that, Paul. We did that
I know. I
as a
know.
society.
And
Oh,
luckily, we have the internet. And I truly believe the internet we were never supposed to have access to. Us,
yeah.
general. I don't think they believed the weapon they gave the people.
Yep.
Because I can tell you now, it's now documented for history to see in years to come what transpired in 2020. Some would say that this was quite possibly the biggest awakening of our generations.
Amen.
And we are now standing up to a system that is hell bent on control. No more so. I remember years ago, I watched an interview and I didn't realize it, but I've been waking up my whole life in little chunks. And 2020 was like the switch flicking once and for all. A politician said, this is how we deal with the people: a stick and a carrot, exactly like a donkey. And I just thought, God, they do not see us as human beings. They really don't. They don't want to open up dialect with us. They want us to do as we are told. And that is something, now we have had quite possibly the Great Awakening, we are in a stronger position than ever. I am talking to more people in my everyday life about things that you could not talk to them about 5 years ago, going, wait, so these masks that we put on were supposed to save us, but we take them off to sit in a restaurant to eat, and then you could take them down to play a musical instrument which works on air from your lungs. The and the biggest thing that I found coming from this is common sense went out the window. How
Ah,
they have managed to train us to not follow our own common sense astounds me.
yeah. Amen, man. Yeah, you said it all right there. And that is got to be the most that and that's why we really hit the gas on the me and my wife. You know, like we didn't she wasn't my wife at the time. We didn't even have kids yet. Now we have two kids, right? And so I didn't even have any stake in the game, so to speak, but that's why we're all in. We're all in. Like it yeah, it was we're a really sick society. And I mean that on a global level, right? We're in a really sick place if like you just said that it's like we know something is not right, but because we're locked in fear and we believe that outside source so much more than we believe what's in us, right? Than what actually that's the game. That's what they've done. It's the mirror trick. Everything's a
Yeah.
mirror reflection. And in the law space, which again, the freedom people were really heavily into the law space and helping people with legal and lawful things like that. And taxation is just huge. You know, here in the US, it's pretty big, but you guys in the UK and Australia, man, geez, like I was saying earlier, it's coming down hard. And I mean hard. That now they want to tax people 50% capital gains, they unrealized capital gains, just insane stuff, like insane stuff. And
Money
it's
you
just,
haven't even earned yet.
no, we're going to
Oh, but
tax you on it
wait,
anyway.
Bradley, sorry to just cut in there. Would you like to hear something that is bonkers in the UK?
Yes,
So
I
we
would.
pay our year's tax, then we have to pay half of next year's tax up front. We haven't even earned that money, but we have to pay it up front.
And like you said in the beginning, they print the money, right? It's
Yeah.
all fiat. It's fake. It's not even real money. So if they can print that, if it's not backed by anything, then why? See, and that's the thing is it's governments or corporations, believe it or not. So here's how it works, right? So the crown actually owns the United States. If you want to believe it or not, you don't have to, but this is actually real. So the Washington, D.C. is actually under the crown. So you have the triple crown. You have Washington, D.C., London City, and the Vatican. That's the triple crown. Okay. They're the ones, that's the world control grid. Okay. So just like every other corporation, you have to continue, it's called fiscal responsibility, right? You have to continue for your shareholders, you have to continue to create profit and you have to increase. And that's why you guys, you have your, what is it? Your, what is it? Ministry of Finance, right? Who is
Yes.
it? Right. It's right.
Treasury.
Right. And so they're having to continuously make money, but they can't actually make money. Where do they get the money from? The money comes from the people, but they can actually print it. Right. And so that's why we're in this, it's a,
Matrix.
yeah, it's the matrix, man. But what I feel is it's collapsing in on itself. And this is
Yeah.
I actually wrote a paper. It's called the Decentralization Revolution, because that's what we're in right now is is hyper centralization that we've experienced over years. Even the food. Why is the food supply? We can't feed the entire world. Well, no, not if you're trying to do it with 3 people. You can't. No, that's not going to happen. Or even 10 corporations are not going to. No, but we can go back to decentralized food. We can go back to locally and have plenty of food. Grow your own garden, like something, anything, right? There are ways, but again, it's the same thing, man. They've duped us into believing that they are the solution when they're the parasite that is seriously sucking all the blood. And literally, if you want to look at it this way, your soul, your living life force is the only thing that produces anything. Okay. Dead entities, they are corpses, they're dead entities. Banks, all of these entities, they don't create anything. They rely on us, we the people, the living souls, to do things, right? So they have to suck the blood out of us. They have to. They're the vamps. They have no other way to survive. And guess what happens? They have to continually get bigger. Do you know last year, or check this out, here in the United States in 2021, 90% of all the jobs created were government jobs. Last year, 60 or 70, 80% of all the jobs created in Australia were government jobs. Okay, what's wrong here, people? What's wrong here? Anybody? Can we see that yet? Is there anybody with got, hello, is this
The
thing
big
on?
bubble. It's a big bubble that's going to pop because in the UK as well, our housing market is
Ah,
propped up now because the government are buying up houses for illegal migrants. Like we've
same
we've
as
got to the
Australia,
point,
by the way.
yeah, we've got to the point where we're producing nothing now. So we are just creating the mother of all bubbles. And as you said earlier on, they're greedy. They can't stop themselves.
Right.
You know, they need to suck that next soul. They need to suck that next bit of fear out of the people. And one thing we know is systems like that never survive. They destroy
Yeah,
themselves. Always
it's
do.
happening.
Always will.
Yeah, amen, man, 100%. And that's what's happening. That's what it's decentralization happening right in front of us. It
Yeah.
has to, and that's why our main objective at the Freedom People is to create a hard to kill population, and that just means independent. you as a man, as an independent man, you are the man of your household. You are the king of your castle. And we need to go back to that and take that back because God created man. Man created society, and society created governments. The governments didn't create us. And why do they think they're our creator? They've stepped in to be our God. And that's that it's got to stop. And it has to stop like now. And that's the thing is, how, I don't know, Paul, you live there. How much further will the UK populace go until they're just like, just middle fingers and just like, no, we're done. Sorry. We're just done. Bye. Because that's all it takes is no. It's a no. It's just a no. We're not going to do that. That's all it takes. Are we even close? Do you think, is there hope? I mean, it's just.
Well, I mean, in the UK, we are now starting to see pockets of freedom pop up. We're seeing a resurgence in Christianity, first and foremost. The
Nice.
religion is now sticking its head up, going, we will not go quietly into the dark, which is fantastic. Unfortunately, our king has gone the other way. He's given in to whichever faith he chooses, which is Islam currently. He's gone from being a defender of the Christian faith to just bowing down. We're also seeing, and in one area, they are now refusing to pay council tax and TV license. Because in the UK, we have to have a license to have a TV, would you believe it? Or to watch live TV. So the pockets are growing. The protests across the UK have been phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Right here, right now, all over the UK, people are putting up the Union Jack flag on lampposts, on motorway bridges or freeway bridges, as they say in America. And we're painting our roundabouts as well with, because most of our roundabouts are mini, so they're white. So they're painting the St. George's Cross on them. So we're actually now seeing pockets of resistance popping up everywhere, which to me fills me with the biggest hope I have ever seen. And on the 13th of September, and I'll just say this now, a gentleman named Tommy Robinson is doing quite possibly the biggest freedom march the UK has ever seen in decades. And so much so, they've had to change the venue. There's that many people going. It's going to be massive. And quite frankly, I honestly believe our whole system has to change because currently the system that's
Yeah.
in place, and I don't know about America, but for argument's sake, we've got the Conservative and the Labour Party. They are what we call a uni party. They don't have any different policies. They just pass the baton amongst themselves, giving
Yeah.
us the illusion of choice. And I've
Right.
realised now the whole system is set up for the illusion of choice. When you see the cameras inside Parliament, that's just part of the pantomime of showing us the illusion like they're fighting for us. They're not, because the moment the session ends, they're shaking hands and laughing with each other. Are you for real? You tell me that's not a stage show.
Yeah, man. It's and by the way, it works same way here, and that's why if and like you said, the internet and that we're able to have these conversations openly and have the, you know what I mean? Because when we were kids, like it was like you write a letter and you had a pen pal over in France somewhere or something, you know what I mean? But now that we can do this, it's for someone like me who's just paying attention to this stuff, it just makes it so much more obvious to see that it's the same systems, right? Yeah, it's a two-party system. Then they give you the illusion of choice, right? But how can you even say that there's one person or two people can can represent millions of people? Do you know? And it just doesn't work like that. But that's the thing is regardless of who the bad guy or the good guy is at the time or for whatever party, the system never stops. And that's the most important thing for them is that the system that we continue to believe in it. Because that's all it is. It's you want to talk about like some cult. This is the biggest cult in the world. All of our religious leaders, everybody have all just fallen into it, and that's the thing. Where I believe everything outside of you is a false prophet. But for argument's sake, are these the false prophets? Right? Are these just continuously, like you were saying, your prime minister there, the king, whatever? Right? They're like he was a Christian back and now he's about the Muslims, right? But here's the thing, and again, the United States is doing the same thing. Australia, and I use Australia a lot because I've got somebody on my team. He's my VP of operations, lives in Australia, right? And he's Australian, and so he's New Zealand or whatever, but he's down there. He's telling me these same things. So we're able to see this. I mean, happening kind of real time. And it's just so blatantly obvious now. Again, if you just look at it objectively, if you can, just look at it and see, well, how are these all like the same? Because it's the same system. The
Yeah.
United States, we think that we got away from, no taxation without representation. No, 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 no. There was like a 3-year period where there was a little bit, but then the devil got back to Georgia, man, and it was in. And it's never been any different, but it's the illusion, right? And that's what you're saying. The TVs and stuff. And that's why everything I say, I'm like, this is political theater. They're just messing with us. Like we are being duped on such a massive level. And now with TV, I mean, again, since here in the US, it was since what? Reagan was an actor. Ever since then, I mean, look at Trump. Trump was he was an actor, man. He ran reality TV shows, and now it's just sometimes it just is a little bit too stings a little bit too much. You know what I mean? You're just like, I feel
I've
like
got to admit though, and I'm going to jump to Trump's defense here. He's doing things that are upsetting a lot of people,
regardless. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
wow, he's making improvements. He's cleaned up Washington D.C.
Well, apparently, see, but that's the thing. But see, apparently, and that's the thing is they want us to believe in the Messiah and the guy coming to save us. I
Yeah.
don't believe anybody's coming to save us. I think it's on us. If he really is the guy and he's going to change things, I'm going to meet his son Eric this month. Like, I mean, I'm not against anybody. I would just love to see it happen. I would love to see it happen. So do something then. Okay, do it. Do it. What has actually happened though? What Epstein list? Who? Epstein who? Wait, what? Oh, yeah. What are you talking about?
Hang
Like
on, you
all
just
of this
had a
stuff.
bubble pop up with a thumbs up around your head. Yeah, there was a what? Oh wow. Oh wow. Oh, you've got some fancy effects.
So it's my Mac. Yeah, hold on. I can turn that off. Yeah. So there we go. So it's my Mac. So the new Macs, like they have these things. So anyway, so yes, and I really hope I really hope that they do change something. I hope something, but again, I'm only 46 years old, but I've just seen the same pattern continuously happen. Oh, it's this guy. He's going to come in and save you. Oh, no, it's this guy. No, it's this guy. Red team, blue team, red team, blue team. Hey, they're coming to save you. Don't worry. Don't worry. You
What
don't have to do anything, sir. You just sit there and keep eating your Twinkies. Do nothing.
I think I've got to say as well that you can't do massive changes overnight.
That's
I've
true.
realized that from my own awakening journey. I had a family member say to me in 2020, Paul, the world is not what you think it is. And then he sent me all the information. I just shut down. I did
Yeah.
not accept anything he said, and I thought he was a lunatic. But then Boris Johnson came on TV and stopped calling COVID a virus. He called it a disease, and it twigged. That was it.
That
That
was
was
your
the
switch.
one
Yeah.
moment where you can't move the goalposts on something that's supposed to kill us all. It was there
Right.
to kill us all.
Right.
And then I started talking to him, and then he started sending me things in digestible chunks, and I accepted it. I woke up. I started understanding. I started realizing. Then I started getting a backbone. Then I thought to myself, do you know what? I'm not going to sit here and be quiet and go off into the night. I'm going to actually try and make a difference because, Bradley, I don't know about you, when you've got two children and you look down at them, if you're not trying to make this world better, then are you really a good father, a good parent?
Yeah, and I have to say no to that, man. And ironically enough, it's funny because me and my wife talk about it. We have had parents and stuff like that that were the previous generation. They really didn't care. Do you know? Not to say they didn't care about us kids because they did. They didn't care about leaving the world. They're just like, well, we're out of here soon. That's not my responsibility. I don't care. And it's so foreign to me. You know what I mean? And it's so bonkers. But yeah, I mean, that alone, no, I even before I had kids, I was on this mission. And I don't know why. I think that's why I was put on this earth was to just at least ruffle some feathers, right? Because that's something I've definitely done in my life is because and what you said there is exactly right because I was that guy. I was that guy trying to wake people up for a very long time. I mean years, and that's kind of why I exhausted out, right? I was in the military in the late 90s is when I kind of had my awakening that oh my god, news is lying to us. I'm here under false pretenses. Then went through all of this 2008 2009 I was the guy at the parties, drinking freaking some beers and yelling at people, you're a slave, and yeah, anyway, so now I guess I have some sort of level of wisdom that came through the years, and it's more now. I kind of I akin that to walking into someone's room at 3 in the morning with a pot and a pan and throwing on the lights and smashing things and saying, wake up, and then trying to talk logic to them, right? Being like, by the way, do you know, and it's not, you're not going to get anything out of it. So, and that's really what it is we want to be that beacon. We're here to meet people where they're at. So whether you're just now starting on this freedom journey, because that's the thing is I didn't have any of this for 30 years, like 20 years solid. I felt like completely crazy. Ironically enough, we had David Icke on the podcast a couple of years ago, but he was the first guy that I saw that was talking this stuff, like, and people were just ripping into him. You know what I mean? And so, but he actually made me feel better about my stuff. It sounds weird, but like, you know, I remember seeing him on the television, like, and he was just being ripped on, right? And people just
Yeah.
making fun of him and just like, but I believed what he believed. You know what I mean? But it was just so, you know, back in the 90s, it was just so sparse, these people. Then the 2020 came, man, and now everybody was at least willing to listen. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't that complete shutdown, like you're a conspiracy theorist, tinfoil weirdo. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, definitely meeting people where they're at and letting them kind of wake up at their own time is really the only way that it can work. Because you can wake people up the other way, but I've seen it have negative effects. You know, like
Yeah.
where they go into complete, like you said, shut down, like, and then like their whole world is kind of broken before it was supposed to be broken. You know what I mean? And that's not cool either. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the biggest thing that my family member said to me was, Paul, if this was going to kill us all, you'd be stepping over bodies in the streets because the hospitals would have no way to handle this. And there are light bulb moments. The question is, are you willing to have your soul open enough to see the light bulb moments? Because when they happen, they're not always obvious.
Yeah.
And I honestly believe, and do you know what? I am a lot more at peace now seeing a lot of the changes that are coming in the world because honestly, I go back a year before Trump got in. I thought Agenda 2030 was happening. It was here. We're going to shrink the population down to 500 million, get everyone living in 15-minute cities, and it's game
Eating
over.
bugs.
That's it. Yeah, eating bugs because
Yeah.
they're the only ones that have got cows, so they can have beef burgers, whatever, you know.
Right. Right.
And I'm sitting here now, and I'm going, it's all changing. It's all changing. You know,
Amen. Yeah.
Europe is being dismantled. We don't even talk about the gay mafia that I think are running Europe.
So,
But
do you do Khazarian? So, do you know about the Khazarian
yeah,
empire? Yeah, yeah. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah. 12 families that rule the world.
there's a rabbit hole, man. Yeah, I got books upon books on all that. It's they're in the UK. You guys have or London is what is it the something? Gosh, what is the name? They're actually it's what is the name of that group? But they're basically a you know they help with the music, you know, everything in society. They're, what is the name of that group? They're very open and stuff, but they're the ones who actually help to push like what popular music is out there and the popular narratives, right? And that's actually right there in London. But it's for sure there's something much bigger that we're not privy to. We don't know. And that's the thing is people say Bill Gates or the anal Schwab guy or whatever. But if you see them on TV, they're not the ones pulling the strings. They're not the ones who run
No,
things.
they're
Those are just
minions.
their
You
pawns.
don't
Yeah.
even know the names of the real ones
Yeah.
most of the time. They're the
Right.
ones that are really pulling the strings. And, you know, they don't even believe in money. It's all about power games for them. You know,
Right.
they need money.
Well, that money
They've
means
got it.
nothing to them
Yeah.
because they don't have to, right? I mean, can you imagine that? Like, be the one that actually makes the money, and I mean, like making money, like actually makes the money, and not even the banks, like above
Yeah.
the banks, right? Like it goes beyond that. Like
Yeah.
who is the what is it? The Bank of International Settlements, right? Like the BIS, like when you really start to look and get into like how the money flows and where it goes. I mean, the Bank of International Settlements can just hide books. They have
Yeah.
no, they're their own country.
Yeah.
They're sovereign, which means they have no oversight whatsoever, but they can, it's just,
I mean, here's the other thing as well. I was in Dubai 2 years ago now, and I had the great privilege of talking to one of the powerful, influential families, and I was speaking to him, and he went, "Yeah," he said, "the only reason why we charge VAT is because the West threatened to take away the SWIFT system from us." That's the power money moving networks have. And
Yep.
who controls them? Well, he said the West. So, and this probably goes all the way back now to the three pillars of the crown. And
Uh-huh.
you
Yep.
can just see the corruption and how it all works because they have to make their system appear across the world, or otherwise people will question it. Dubai, no income tax. No income tax. Well, hang on a minute. That country is thriving and it hasn't got oil. It used to have oil. That went very quickly. That country is thriving without income tax. So you've got to sit there and rattle your brain and go, there's something not quite right with this system, is there?
Right. Well, when we saw that kind of what Brett was it Brexit, but then what was it BRICS? Was that they're trying to create the SWIFT alternative? Russia was it? So it was
Level
Russia.
playing field, bricks are trying to
Yeah.
create.
Right. And we have that, and again, and I'm going to say it again, but now we also have Bitcoin, and
Mhm.
I'm not talking about all the other cryptos because there's lots out there. Why Bitcoin's different? Bitcoin's actually sovereign and independent. There is no centralized source to that where all your other cryptos are. And they're adopting now. You see all the government starting because they have no choice. But what they're doing, and they're going to bring in their own CBDCs, a central bank digital currency. I full on believe that that's what they're going to do. And then you'll have something where they're going to try and pull something like they did with the gold in the United States in the 30s, where they're going to say you have to turn in all your Bitcoin, right, in exchange for a USDT or USDC, whatever their
Because that's the
token is.
only legal tender.
That's their legal tender.
And
And
then
then
they'll
that, then
sell it
they're
all back later on.
and now, oh my God, and now, right, exactly, and then they'll revalue it or what, you know what I mean? It's just, they're not gonna let go of the control. At the same time, it doesn't have to be a fight. There is no battle, like you said. It's there the current. There's no fixing the bike. The current bike that we're riding, you're not fixing that. We need to just get on a new bike, right? And we have plenty of opportunity now. There is ways to do it. See, the thing is, people don't know what a world's like to not be enslaved. And so when
Yeah.
you show them a way that's not slavery, it seems impossible or like something's not right. Do you know what I mean? And that's where we're at right now because we're at it right now. I mean, we do these side of things. We tell people take a 25% discount if somebody pays you in Bitcoin. Why? In 4 years, that 25%, that Bitcoin's going to be worth way more than the fiat you collected today. Not only that, but now you have an asset. Fiat is not an asset. I promise you, you think it is. Like we were saying, you think it is, but it's not. It's a bunch of paper. It's hopes and dreams and lies. It's
Yeah.
fake. Just nothing, right? And we put all of our think about it. Look, wars. I mean, gosh, how many kids in the streets die all the time over $20? You know what I mean? Like over paper. They've
Yeah.
really gotten. They and I say they. I use they a lot. You know, the string pullers.
Depends on what platform you're on, is how you can word it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Usually just say they. You know, it keeps you out of trouble.
Well,
But
Bradley, that brings us to the end of the show for today. Where can everybody find you on your links?
yeah, so just head over to thefreedompeople.org, and that's thefreedompeople.org.
Fantastic. Well, everybody, we're going to put Bradley's links down below. It's been a pleasure as always. Thank you, everybody, for watching. So take care. God bless. See you all soon. Bye now.
Thank you, Paul.